Salaki. All right. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Call Halam Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Arachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, tell us the truth. Honors and salutations to the elect, to the men that died doing the work of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, to the Shalom first. To the men, women, and children that believe on the true name of the Father and the Son. The Father's name is Yahweh, he exists. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai, he is the deliverer, because he come to deliver us to this captivity that we're in. My name is Micah Allah Ben Gad Ben Yasharala, Church of Philadelphia Camp, here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Once again, come back at you with another one. And as the title says, thinking about listening to the apostle and everything. Spirit led me to just look up just companies that still benefit off of slavery today, off the backs of our people, and 15 of them, that you see every day, letting you know that you're still in slavery, and the Lord has to redeem us, man. All right, it's the only one that can save us. They insured us, even on those ships. Like you go to your job, just slave to your job. What they do, they give you insurance, right? Athletes, they insure them. So and the better the more, I would say, the more valuable I would say your job is to this place, or to the function of this place, the better your insurance is going to be, man. Because they want to keep their slaves uh, good, healthy, the work for them. But get this article real quick. All right, because y'all these companies, these corporations, which Babylon is a corporation, and guess what? That's the major corporation that's uh benefiting off the backs of the slaves, man. You know, for the blood, and sweat, and the tears, the ones that built this nation. They got a thing called what, the Taylor Cheers over there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they moved the Gadites from there, started pushing them out towards the West Coast. So let me show you this. So I hate this, man. You always try to like, I'm be wanting all these freaking pop up ads, all that bullshit on my phone. But anyway, here it goes right here. You can see it. All right. 15 major corporations. All right. You never knew. What it says? It says profited from slavery, man. All right. And yo, we're slaves in this kingdom, man. All right. So it says, keep going, because you go to what, Deuteronomy 28:68, when it goes into you shall be sold to enemies, and no man shall buy you. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, but this says the enslavement of African American, which we know that they're Israelites. All right, no such thing as an African American. Those with two names of two slave ships, and two men, which was one name was Scipio Africanus. The other guy's name was Amerigo Vespucius, where you get these two names, African American. They were two slave ships. All right. All right, it says the enslavement of African people in the Americas by the nations and peoples of Western Europe created the economic engine that funded modern capitalism. See that? So that's how you know this shit is wicked. It says, therefore, it comes as no surprise that most of the major corporations that were founded by Western European and American merchants prior to roughly 100 years ago. See that? Prior to roughly 100 years ago, benefited directly from slavery. All right? Benefited directly from slavery. So it says so from about 100 years ago, but all those, was my grandmother, right? She passed away. She was 99. All right, so 4 years ago, my cousin passed away. She was 44. All right, and now what's in 2025? So what? My grandma passed. She passed before my cousin, and so 99. So yeah, about a little over my lifetime's a little over 100 years. So these new companies they still benefit off of it by just giving you a little time frame. But they're all it says Western European and American merchants. All right, the Western European people, man, they benefited off of what the slavery. Because when you look over there, the Western European people, that's NATO has a lot of ties to that. Eastern European goes into what Russia. All right, which is not tied into NATO, but still they all benefit from slavery in some type of way. But anyway, says the Lehman Brothers. All right, the Lehman Brothers. I'm not really familiar with who they are, but they to this day their company benefits. So and their ancestors that goes along with that. So they always try to say, "Oh, you guys are lazy, you this to that," but all you people benefited from us, man. You know. But it says Lehman Brothers, whose business empire started in the slave trade. See that started in the slave trade. Recently admitted their part in the business of slavery, according to the Sun Times. The financial service firm acknowledged recently that its founding partners owned not one but several enslaved Africans during the Civil War era, and that in all likelihood it profited sufficiently from slavery. This is a sad part of our heritage. We're deeply apologetic, but yo, nothing's wrong with having slaves, man, because we're going to have slaves, So the things that we're going to do to you, if you knew these damn devils, if they knew, they would do it to us like way worse, man, right now. But see, the receipts are here. You already benefited. And now you think that you're going to try to be like, oh, well, we're sorry. Let's give it back. No, the receipts is right here, right where I'm reading. All right, it says it profited sufficiently from slavery. So if they really wanted to free us and everything, they'd have let us go. Same way with Pharaoh. They didn't want to let us go because what? Egypt was booming off the backs of the Israelites, man. Our labor. They it wasn't cheap labor. Well, it was cheap labor because we were slaves, but they was busting our ass, man, and they benefited greatly from us, because our hands are blessed, you know. All right, cool. All right, so our hands are blessed, but it says it tells you that, and what's that in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, from I think it's between like 1 and 15. From 1 and 15 is all the blessings, but from 16 to 68 is all the curses. And one of those blessings is what that our hands will be blessed, man. You know. Uh, We ignoring it says where was we at? All right, it says this is a sad part of our heritage. We deeply apologetic. The apology is not worth it. Right? The blood is required, that's what scripture says. But it says it was a terrible thing. There's no one sitting in the United States in the year 2005. This is I guess it's going back 2005. Hopefully we would never in a million years defend the practice, said Joe Polizito, General Counsel of Lehman Brothers. All right. So that, of course, you would say that now because it's coming to the end. All right. We're at the end of our captivity and we're coming to the beginning of yours, man. All right. Once the Lord comes back and crack these skies open. Well, anyway, here we go. An insurance company, which I know in the hood is probably known Aetna. Aetna INC. You got a whole bunch of Aetnas. All right. It's usually given to Jake, low income, and things like that. All right. So, Salaka, bear with me. I'm on the plant, so give me 1 second. Yo, Salaki. But all right, so bear with me, Salaki. But yeah, so it says Etna, which is like I said, that was one of the major. Um, please tell me this dude ain't coming back. But it was one of the major insurance companies that for Jake. Yo, bear with me, Salaki. Yo. Oh, he's Satan, man. Fuck. None of y'all niggas put it up, man. Yo, Salaki, man. Forget it. Anyway, just get back to it. I was saying, Aetna. All right, it says Aetna, INC, the United States' largest health insurer, apologized for selling policies in the 1850s. That's how they got their money, man. In the 1850s, but they still have Jake and underneath it. So they talk about they apologize, but what did they give you? His apology means nothing. I said that blood is required according to the Bible, man. The Lord's going to be the one to come back and get it. All right, they benefited off it, so we're going to benefit off of your slavery and our kingdom. All right. It says 1850 that reimburse slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Africans, which are Israelites, Africans they owed died. All right, so that's why they get put insurance on you now and your jobs. All right, it says Aetna has long acknowledged that for several years, shortly after its founding in 1853, that the company may have ensured the lives of slaves, said Aetna's spokesman Fred LeBerg in 2002. We express our deep regret over any participation at all in the in the deplorable practice, and that's crazy, man. Oh, so these people is funny as hell. They think that their apologies going to like save them. No, all right. You can apologize all you want. Keep the same energy, man, that y'all had back in the 1800s and when y'all first came in power and everything like that. All right, because hey, it's your judgment is already set, man. It's set in stone. So enjoy your companies and everything you had while it lasts. All right. All right. It says J.P. Morgan is another one. J.P. Morgan Chase. These are banks. All right. It says recently admitted their company's links to slavery. Today we are reporting that this research found that between 1831 and 1865, two or of our predecessors, Salakia, banks, predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Counter Bank in Louisiana. Damn, and yo, that's funny, Citizen Bank, because it makes me think about the first time I started teaching like alone, I taught in front of Citizens Bank Park. I mean Citizens Bank. And on top of that, I just when I heard the voice of the Lord, and I was riding through Citizens Bank Park with a Philadelphia Phillies player, I kept hearing those words: "Go teach my word, go teach my word, go teach my word." And I told brothers that, and I like, and now going over this is like, damn, it's really hitting home because those men that play in that park, that Citizens Bank, and if you really look at it, how you furthermore know that these companies really the banks and all that uh, capitalize off the slave trade is going into like these arenas, man. You know, the Lincoln Financial Center here in Philadelphia, the Citizens Bank Park, you got the Wells Fargo. Those are all names of banks, man. And those people that play in those arenas are gladiators, man. So you look it up, go back in the ancient times, where the gladiators were, they insured them as well, going back to the Roman captivity. Pretty sure the Greeks and everything, man. They wanted insurance on their property to make sure that if anything happened to it, it would be compensated. All right. So we were the merchandise that they were insuring here. Okay. Which it says, and you could go to any like the AT&T stadiums and all that, all these stadiums, man. All right, throughout Babylon. All right, it says Citizens Bank and Cano Bank in Louisiana accepted approximately 1,300 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. The company wrote in a statement, so it took them captive, man. They had to pay up, so they were the collateral, was subject to payment. All right, that proves it right there. You're subject to payment. That's what you are here in Babylon, man. Us is the New York Life Insurance Company is the largest mutual life insurance company in the United States. God damn. It says they also took part in slavery by selling insurance policies and enslaved Africans. According to the USA Today, evidence of 10 more New York Life slave policies comes from an 1847 account book kept by the company's Natchez Miss Agent W.A. Brighton. The book, part of the collection at Louisiana State University, contains Brighton's notes on slave policy. He wrote for amounts ranging, now check out the prices, ranging from $375 to $600. A 1906 history of New York Life says 339 of the company's first thousand policies were written on the lives of slaves. God damn. All right, here we go. Well, I said now it was the bank, it was the stadium here. Now it's the Wells Fargo where the Sixers used to play at. Used to be the Spectrum, and it was the Wachovia. All right, that's another bank. All right, says USA Today reported Wachovia, and this is another bank, a corporation. All right, Wells Fargo. Now we're talking about corporate America. Corporate America had a lot to do with slavery, man. All right, it says has apologized, but that apology, like I said, that apology means nothing. I'm gonna breeze through this because I'm gonna jump into the scriptures, man. All right. All right, it says Wachovia Corporation. Now, check it out. Here it go. Now owned by Wells Fargo. So that's all they did. Wachovia, Wells Fargo. As I told you about the stadiums here in Philadelphia. So they got there used to be the Wachovia, now it's the Wells Fargo, and that proves it right there. It says now owned by Wells Fargo. So they had hands in slavery. Still do. Because those sports players that play in that arena, those gladiators, they're slaves. High paid slaves, man. It says has apologized for its ties. So if they apologize, they'll let those people go, man, and get that money to the ancestors of those people if they really wanted to apologize. But of course, it's a bunch of bullshit. All right, but it says has apologized for its ties to slavery after disclosing that two of its historical procedures on enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Say accepted or subject to payment. Remember that. They're subject to payment. Accepted them as payment on behalf of Wachovia Corporation. I apologize to all Americans and especially to African Americans and people of African descent. And so that's a smack in the face, but that's what that says. All right, so let's go here. It says N like Negro and M like Michael. Rothschilds and Sons Bank in London. That's not a surprise. All right, was linked to slavery. The company that was one of the biggest names in the city of London has previously undisclosed links to slavery in the British colonies. Damn. So what you got? That was Judah Benjamin Levi. All right. So they was brought to those British because that's why they speak that. They got the patois for the Benjamin. Levi speaks Creole, which is like broken French, And Benjamin, Benjamin, like I said, that's that British accent type stuff. And then Judah speaks this bastard language, But it says the company that was one of the biggest names in the city of London has previously undisclosed links to slavery in the British colonies. Documents seen by the Financial Times have revealed that Nathan Meyer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made his first personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with slave owners. You see that? Subject to payment, man. All right, it says Norfolk Southern also has history in the slave trade. The Mobile and Girard Company, which is now part of Norfolk Southern, offered slave holders 180 to $3,379 today. So that's what it would be worth today. All right, a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad for 1 year, according to the records. The Central of Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern, line today valued its slaves as 31,303 dollars, which today is $663,033 today on record. God damn. So all it does is increases from back then to now. That money has increased, and they're still not trying to free. They still not don't get one to give no reparations, but we know that. All right, but the Lord is going to get the reparations. That reparation is Esau's blood, man. It tells you that blood is required. All right, that's the payment that the Lord wants from them, man. The hell with your money, because everything was given to y'all. The earth, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. All right, it says USA Today. It says has found that their own parent company, EW Scripps, and Garnett has had links to slave trade. Says there is evidence that Fleet Boston, involved from an earlier financial institute, Providence Bank, found by John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships. See that? And owned ships used to transport enslaved Africans. The bank financed Brown's slave voyage and profited from them. Brown even reportedly helped charter what became Brown University. God damn, see that became Brown University. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look into that Brown University. I think if I'm not mistaken, it might be a Negro College. I'm not sure, but because I know the name, I don't want to get no wrong information, but I want to stay on top of what I'm on. It says CSX used slave labor to construct portions of some U.S. railroads. So I've been working on the railroad. They've been using you niggas, man. All right. And the jails, same thing, man. All right. It says U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place more than a century ago. Two enslaved Africans, which said Israelites, but I'm just reading it verbatim, who the company rented were identified as John Henry. See that? Here we go. John Henry and Reuben. Damn, that's crazy. Then John Henry, you know the story of him, which he beat the machine and he ended up checking out. So the story goes. But they try to say that was a myth or whatever, but our people are strong, man. All right. What it says in Reuben, it says the record states they were the two returned clothed. They were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Individual enslaved Africans cost up to $200, the equivalent of $3,800 today. God damn, for 1 day. To rent for a session at CSX took full advantage. Damn. So they was renting people, and now you get the railroads today as we built that. So everything was built out the back in the sweat and tears of the slaves, man, the Israelites. All right, and these are the companies that you use every day. Throughout the whole Babylon, you use it. And matter of fact, you go to the four corners of the earth, man. Because I was looking at different countries and everything, and I'm like, God damn, like their rail system looks like over here. And all that's Esau's technology. That's all Esau's shit. Check it out. Speaking of which, here we go. The Canadian National Railway Company. That's another one. says it's a Canadian Class 1 railway headquartered in Montreal, Quebec, that serves Canada and the Midwest, the Midwestern and Southern United States. See that? Still benefiting. It's the North. This is one of the North countries the scriptures speak about. But this place right here, that yo man, this place is about to be done because all strongholds and slavery that they have on us, man, and they refuse to give up that wealth, which that wealth came from us, man. We generated that. The wild labor, okay, and we were treated wrongly. So now the Lord got it. Oh my God, check this out. It says the company also has a history in which it benefited from slavery to Mobile and Ohio, now part of the Canadian national value. Their slaves lost, all right, the war and emancipation at $199,691 on record. God damn. Check this out. That amount is currently worth 2.2 million today, man. So look how much money, yo, man. So our Lord said, I know thy work, I know thy labors. He said, I know thy poverty, but thou art rich. All right. He said, thou art rich. But check this out. This is the last couple ones. I'm gonna breeze through these real quick. Cause I want to try and be but I just wanted to give you some insight, of with the companies. And these are companies that people use every single day. And the last one really gonna hit you. But this is just interesting to me. Hold on. Hit that one. Where you at? Did that one. All right, here it goes. It says Brown's Brothers. All right. Brown's Brothers, Harriman, is the oldest, largest private investment bank and securities firm in the United States. It says founded in 1818. USA Today found that the New York Merchant Bank of James and William Brown, currently known as Brown Brothers, Harriman, owned hundreds of enslaved Africans and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. Man, god damn! Come on, man. So it's all around you. Like you can't get around it. Brooks Brothers, the high-end suit retailers. Like, Jake, just get a little bit of money, get in the entertainment industry and all that. You want to go get a nice suit. But yeah, all you're doing is giving back the money. It's a cycle. It says Brooks Brothers, the high-end suit retailer got their start selling slave clothing to various slave traders back in the 1800s. Damn, slave clothing. Don't sound like uniforms nowadays and all that. It says, what a way to get rich in the immoral slave industry. Jeez. It says Barclays. This is the one I really want. Barclays. Now, what you got? What's that center that Jay-Z? He had it was the New Jersey Nets moved to Brooklyn out of the Brooklyn Nets. And what's the name of the center? The Barclays Center. Come on, man, that's benefited too. So what does that make that nigga? He's a high paid slave, man. That's all them niggas is, man. And they reaping the benefits off of well, he's not, but the ones that can afford to give him all that money, which is chump change compared to what they have, to give him all that money, they know he's a slave. You can't get from underneath of them. He signed unto them. He signed a contract to those people. That's just make you your slave to them, man. There's no getting out of that. All right, it says Barclays. It said the British multi-nation banking and financial service company headquartered in London, UK, has now conceded that companies it bought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. Y'all didn't know goddamn well they was involved in the slave trade. All right, it says USA Today report that New York-based AIG completed the purchase of American General Finance Group, a Houston-based insurer that owns U.S. life insurance company, a U.S. life policy on an enslaved African living in Kentucky. We reprinted in 1935 article about the slave insurance in America. Well, basically that's it, man. So let's get into these scriptures, all right? Because we gotta be delivered from that, man. All right, but those are the companies, and they like the scriptures say, let's let my people go, man. You know, that's what the Lord told him to tell. But let's what he's telling him again, man. All right, and it's time. And it's time right now. Shalaka, just bear with me. Yo, con. So this is Baruch, all right, my man Baruch, chapter 3, and I'm probably start at verse 5. All right, Baruch chapter 3. Let's go to verse 5. All right, because we're in captivity, and that lets you know because those companies still exist to this day. All right, so that and they still got that. They're still getting money off of you. They're still insuring you. So they're still making money off of slavery. You know, they might hire you now, but they're not going to tell you like, "Hey, man, Esau's a funny MF." All right, let's go here. Baruch 3 and we said 5. Cut. All right, it's Baruch chapter 3, starting verse 5. It says, "Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name at this time. For thou art Yahweh Bashim Shah, our power, and thee, O Yahweh Bashim Shah, will we praise." All right, that's the reason why I was put in slavery because turn our back on him. It says, "And for this cause they has put thy fear in our hearts to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity." See that? And our captivity. And that's what those companies that we were reading about, they benefited off our captivity. They're still benefiting off it today because we're still in captivity till this day. All right. And guess what we're doing now? We're calling on Yahweh Bashim Ashai. We're remembering his name, the ones that he gave it to, to his elect, man. Lord's willing to be a part of that number. All right. But it says, "Call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity, for we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee." And that's what, when we come back into our remembrance and things, and that's part of repentance. All right. That's why we're doing our lessons, man. We're following the law, statutes, the commandments to the best of our ability here in Babylon. We're rehearsing the righteous acts, all right? You know, um, uh, um, putting it back in our remembrance, man. Well, the Lord is doing that. All right, so we're coming back to our heritage, and these people are mad, and also noticing like, damn, all this stuff was set up because we went off, man. Let you know how important that your people are. All right, so Yahweh Shem Yahshua, so Baruch 3 and 8, it says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity where thou hast scattered us." And you notice when we was reading about those companies, they throughout the four corners of the earth, all right, where they have their strongholds at. It says, "In our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahweh Bashim Shah power," man. So, and it told you that we were basically payments, you know. If we didn't, if the slave owner that had us insured through this company that gave the money, if they wasn't able to meet the payments and requirements, they would take us. That's collateral. That's subject to payment, man. All right. So check this out. Let's go here. We're gonna go to Psalms, chapter 34, because the Lord's hearing us, and that's why He's speeding things up. All right, because we're reading these things. This is sighing and crying, man. All right, this is an example of sighing and crying. The men go out there on the highways and hedges and speak the gospel. They're sighing and crying, man. So guess what? The Lord hears those men. The righteous one. So this is Psalms 34 and 17. It says, the righteous cry, and Yahweh Bashim Yahshua heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles, man. All right. The Lord is going to deliver you out of all your troubles because he's delivering us from this, what we read about the captivity and all these companies that benefit off slavery and then act like they got it from the muscle, the American dream, and they got off the backs of us, and then go and sit there and make them belittle you and try to make you seem like you're lazy. No, hell no. How the hell were you lazy when you built the whole goddamn country? And they sat back and just collected. So guess what? That's what's going to happen in our kingdom. We're going to do the same thing. Sit back, collect. Sit back, collect, and relax. Call on Yah Bashir Yahushua, Bashir Kakadash. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and 2. All right. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them and the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right. So the ones that's the CEOs and the ones that own these companies and been running them, the founders of these companies, that's why scriptures tell you, prepare slaughter for their children so that they won't rise nor possess the lands. And all those 15 companies that I just named, you can look it up yourself. For the ones that just tuned in or haven't been tuned in, whatever, you look it up yourself. All you got to do is go on Google and just Google 15 companies that benefited off of slavery. And they give you the list, man. And you just read them, But soon we're going to be possessing them, man. All right, the Lord is going to reverse everything, which he's starting to do. According to Deuteronomy 30 and 7, all these curses that's on us is going to go on to our enemies, man. So they're going to be the ones that's building up our kingdom, and we're going to benefit off of everything from that, man. Everything, every last single thing. We're going to benefit off the planet, off the animals, off of everything. We're going to be able to enjoy everything that the Lord gave us, man. Why? Because we're going to be righteous again. All right, we ain't going to be wicked no more. All right. So it says, in the people, Isaiah 14 and 2, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. All right, put them in their lands and all that. It says, and the house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall get thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, man. All right. So, matter of fact, let's get that in the NLT, man. That's my John, NLT. All right, brothers know. Isaiah 14 and 2. We'll start verse 14 and 2 in the NLT. On that. Isaiah 14 and 2, okay? Which reads, the nations of the world will help Yahweh's people to return, and those who come to live in their land will serve them. Those who live in their land will serve them. Those who captured Israel will themselves be captured, and Israel will rule over its enemies. And that wonderful day when Yahweh gives his people rest from sorrow and fear, from slavery and chains. Then you will taunt the king of Babylon. You will say, the mighty man has been destroyed. Yes, your insolence is ended. Hey, call on Yah Bashir Yahushua Bashir Kakadash. And rightfully so, for look at it, all the companies that we just read that benefited off of the backs of our people, man. And they got the audacity, the nerve to talk about somebody lazy that's incompetent. No, y'all the real incompetent ones, man. We taught y'all everything, man. We taught y'all everything y'all know. All right? Anyway, let's go ahead to Sirach chapter 10 and 8. Ecclesiasticus. All right, the book of Sirach chapter 10 verse 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, which that's what they did to us, man. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches. See that? because they wax rich off of these companies, off the backs of slaves, man. It says, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom. All right, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and that kingdom, this kingdom that they're in, that's their kingdom. That's why Donald Trump said, "Oh, I'm not going to go to heaven." Yeah, you're damn right you ain't going, because you're already in it, man. You're already in your heaven. Look at your financial gain, what you have got from it, your ancestors. You know, you ain't come that way just by being a citizen like you tell us, like you tell the slaves. Well, you could have what we have. Just work hard. The fuck out of here. Look how hard we work, man. You know, that's a devil for you. Dangling in front of your face. Everything that your ancestors got and they stole from you, they're dangling your face. All you gotta do is just work hard. Well, guess what, man? We got some labor for you. And we're gonna tell you that. You work hard, you can be like us. Yeah, all right. You know, it'll never happen, man. Just go back to Proverbs. We're gonna hit the NLT once again. You know, let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. All right. And 2. All right, it's Proverbs chapter 10, verse 2. In the NLT, it says, tainted wealth, which that's what they have, is tainted wealth has no lasting value. All right. Tainted wealth has no lasting value, but right living can save your life. All right. And yo, their lives is over. Their kingdom is over, you know, because they got those tainted wells, man. That's the riches got by deceit, man. You know, that it's not gonna like it's over for you. Let's put it like that. So enjoy it while it lasts. So all right, because we're saving our lives by what coming back to our heritage. You know, it says Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, will not let the godly go hungry, but he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked, man. So all these things that y'all did to us and got over, you think you got over, or your appetite, you're about to starve, man. You got an appetite for destruction, you know? And that destruction is coming to you, bitch asses. You know? This is Proverbs chapter 13. Let's go to verse 11 in the NLT. It says, wealth from get rich quick schemes. And that's what y'all did, man. It says, wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. And yo, this work right here, what we're doing, this is wealth. This is generational wealth, man, because it's passed down from ancestor to ancestor, generation to generation. These words, this is real money. All right, this is wealth. All right, and it just takes hard work, dedication. All right, patience, endurance to go through everything that you have to go through to get to where we're going. All right, just like when the Lord had us in the wilderness for them 40 years, man. All right, walking around, taking us in a circle, just basically shredding off the weak, you know. He was shifting the whole time. The Lord was shifting, and our people ain't even know it. Let's go to this last scripture, and I'm gonna get out of here. That's I'm on the plan. I didn't even know I was gonna be this long. This is Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 17 in the NLT. Which reads, stolen bread tastes sweet, but it turns to gravel in the mouth. God damn, let's read that again. Proverbs chapter 20, 11 says, stolen bread tastes sweet, but it turns to gravel in the mouth. All right. And yo, right then when they had the slave ships, you know, insurance on that, insurance on the slaves and everything like that. Insurance on us, basically. That tasted sweet to them. They was getting money. Hand over fist, and it showed you the equivalent of how much it would be today. I forgot the one company, but it said that it was like 2.2 million, the equivalent of today. And that was what, back in 2007 or something like that. Roughly around that year, man. You know, but when they did the last guess survey, whatever. But yeah, so it's going to take it's going to be it's going to get bitter to you, man. Real soon, man. It's going to be bitter forever for you, damn devils, man. Because the whole nation's about to be cut off. You know, after y'all serve y'all slavery, because yes, y'all got slavery coming. So everything that y'all benefited off with this slavery, you should have enjoyed it, man, while it lasted. All right, because we're going to about to have a ball. And I can trust that. And we're the greatest nation on the planet, so we know how to do it. We're going to do it great. And we're going to love it. No, you're going to love it. We're going to make you love it. This is Proverbs chapter 20, and verse 20. Last scripture says, if you insult your father or mother, your light will be snuffed out in total darkness. No, that's not what I wanted. This is 21. Salakia. All right. Fucking God. It says Proverbs 20 and 21 says, an inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. An inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end, yo. So y'all got your inheritance and everything. You know the best about people. All right. So Lord's willing, this is edifying. Got some out of it. So the next lesson, I'm saying Wafa Baba Bar, and I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Arachakwadash, that honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. So the next lesson, I'm saying Wafa Baba Bar, Kwame Shalom. Shalom.